The death news shocked the entire world. As soon as it broke, millions of people rushed to search for his name online. The number of searches exploded beyond anything Google's servers could handle. For the first time in history, Google's system crashed, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of interest in one person. The same thing happened to Twitter. Within minutes, over 5,000 tweets per minute were flooding the platform. The servers couldn't cope, and Twitter too went down. Even Wikipedia faced an unprecedented surge in traffic, with more visitors pouring into one biography than ever before. Faced with this digital chaos, Google and other sites had no choice but to block searches for the man's name for half an hour. Michael was the seventh son of Joseph and Catherine Jackson. Joseph worked at a steel mill, but he quickly noticed something remarkable. His children were gifted with music, and so a family band was born. In 1963, at just 5 years old, Michael joined his brothers on stage under the strict supervision of Joseph. After school, Michael and his brothers would practice for hours, honing their craft. The boy was already living in a world of music, with his focus on nothing else. Their debut single, I Want You Back, sold over 1 million copies, and from that moment, the Jackson 5 skyrocketed to fame across the US. By the age of 8, Michael was the lead singer, not just capturing audiences with his voice, but mesmerizing them with his electrifying dance moves. In a short time, the Jackson 5 were standing shoulder to shoulder with the biggest names in music. Michael spent his spare moments studying his idols, James Brown and Jackie Wilson, watching their performances over and over, learning their moves, their charisma, and the way they connected with fans. Then, in 1972, he was given a chance to sing solo for a movie called Ben. While Michael was finding his footing as a solo artist, the Jackson 5 were transitioning too. They landed a sponsorship deal with Epic Records and rebranded as The Jacksons. Hit after hit kept coming, and the band's fame grew, but Michael's solo career was on the verge of something even bigger. In 1978, Michael took a risk. He starred in a movie called The Wiz. It flopped. Michael's first attempt at acting was a crushing failure, but what seemed like a setback turned out to be a turning point. During filming, Michael met music producer Quincy Jones, who noticed the young star's undeniable talent. In 1979, Quincy offered Michael a partnership that would change music history forever. That year, Michael's first solo album, Off the Wall, was released, and it was an instant sensation. The album sold 7 million copies in the US alone, solidifying Michael as a superstar. Then, in 1982, Michael released Thriller. It wasn't just an album, it was a revolution. The world had never seen anything like it. Thriller sold 110 million copies, smashing records and earning Michael the Guinness World Record for the best-selling album of all time. It won 13 Grammy Awards, and Michael was crowned the greatest artist of the decade by President George H.W. Bush. But the accolades weren't the true revolution. The world had known Michael as a star in America. After Thriller, he became a global phenomenon. People everywhere wanted to dress like him, dance like him, be like him. His iconic moonwalk, his sequined glove, his fedora, all became cultural symbols. In all of human history, no one had ever had such an overwhelming impact on global pop culture. But fame came with a price. During a Pepsi commercial shoot in 1984, a terrible accident occurred. A pyrotechnic malfunction set Michael's hair on fire, leaving him with severe burns on his scalp. He required plastic surgery, and in the aftermath, doctors prescribed him painkillers. Around this time, Michael also began building his dream home, Neverland Ranch, a 3,000-acre estate with its own amusement park and zoo. It was a paradise for children, and Michael opened its gates to kids from all over the world. He also founded the Heal the World Foundation, donating millions to help children suffering from illnesses. By 1992, Michael's Dangerous album had hit the charts, another massive success. But fans noticed something different. Michael's skin was lighter. Rumors and speculation swirled, and in 1993, Michael revealed in an interview that he suffered from vitiligo, a disease that affects skin pigmentation. Despite this, the media continued to hound him.
The situation. I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. Is something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me. So it's a problem for me, okay? I can't control it.
The same year, Michael's life took a darker turn. He was accused of child molestation, a charge that shocked the world. The boy's parents demanded a settlement, and Michael, eager to avoid a drawn-out court case, paid $20 million to put the matter to rest. However, another accusation soon followed. This time, Michael refused to settle, choosing to fight the charges in court. For 3 grueling months, Michael faced daily court hearings, enduring relentless questioning. Though he was eventually found innocent, the toll on his mental and physical health was devastating. The constant stress pushed him into a deep depression, and his dependence on painkillers grew. For years, Michael withdrew from the public eye, retreating from music and the spotlight. But in 2009, after 8 long years, he announced a monumental comeback. A series of 50 live shows in London was planned, and millions of fans eagerly awaited his return. It was meant to be his grand re-entry into the world of music. But just as the world was ready to welcome him back, tragedy struck. Michael was found dead in his home. The cause? An overdose of painkillers. His passing sent shockwaves through the world, and the post-mortem report confirmed what many had feared. Michael had been struggling with the same illness he had disclosed years earlier. His death broke hearts across the globe. Yet even now, years after his passing, his influence remains. He lives on in the hearts of his fans, his music echoing through time. But here's the most fascinating thing about him. Even if someone had never listened to a single note of his music, even if they weren't connected to the world of music at all, even if they didn't know who he was, they had still heard his name. His fame transcended all boundaries. Without even realizing it, the entire world knew who he was. And in this entire story, I haven't once mentioned his name until now. Michael Jackson. But is he really gone? Or does the King of Pop live on in ways we can't yet understand? Could there be more to the story than we know? The question lingers. Is he still alive?